Hello, Dan Arajo with CRT. I'm going to be doing the training on the Valcom paging system. This is system 275123, Central Sound. So what we're looking at right here is the actual software you will use to deal with the Valcom system. This is what you will see when you open the software up. So it's looking to either open an existing system, if you've got it saved onto your computer, or just to connect to the system over the network. What we're going to go ahead and do is connect to this system. So I'm going to use right now just to scan off of my current network settings. And what it's going to do is pull all of the information from the Valcom equipment that it can see, which should be right now, as of this point in the system, there are 6 devices in the 2 closets, TR02 and TR03. It'll populate all of them here. You make sure that they're check marked. If you know that there's one you don't even want to deal with, you can uncheck it. It won't pop up over on this side. So what I'm going to do is hit continue so that I can see all of these devices. And then it will bring them all in over here. We have them named so that we know what they are. So there's the main CPU, which is running the system. It has the message server on it, which is actually running the bell schedule. And then there will be expansion cards in each closet. So TR02 has an expansion card, TR03 has an expansion card. And then there is the VoIP interface, which we will use to connect to your guys' phone system, so that you guys can then dial the extension, connect to this system, and send the all call to the whole building or whole campus.
So like Carl is in the Mac and he's, hey, we're on a lockdown, he can send a message over.
Right, I think it's 5,000 right now over here.
What's that?
It's 5,000, that's the number?
Yes. Sometimes this takes a minute over the Wi-Fi.
Well, it's got download everything. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a device.
Plugged into the network, it goes a lot quicker.
Oh.
But right now, you will also see a device labeled Bogan Input. That is the device that we put into your guys' rack over there. So that's what's receiving the signal from here and sending it into the existing paging system.
And vice versa. If we do it, I'll
Yes.
call over there, it comes over here.
Yes. Okay, here we go. You'll see class connection CPU, that is the main actual processor card. And you have class connection expansion cards. So these are ones, essentially all it's doing is just expanding the CPU to get the stations from all of the other areas. Class connection server is what is actually controlling the bell schedule and all of the messages that can be sent out. You have your Bogan input, like we said, is what's sending and receiving from the other building. VoIP interface is to connect to the phones. What we can do is I will click on TR02. So here is all of your, at least in the summary, it has your MAC address, IP address, pretty much any of the information you would need if you needed to make any changes to the card, which you guys shouldn't ever have to do. Properties is just the name, and you can make notes down here if you needed to have, if you had any comments or notes you wanted to keep on this. Network is where you'll change the IP address. These are all set on a static IP address in the 1034.10 range. Time is where you actually, all of these will pull their time, so all of the other cards will pull their time from the message server. System is probably something you'll never even actually have to touch. It's just information about the different groups and everything that are set up.
Man's over getting in here.
Yeah. And then the cards, this is the actual station cards that are attached to that expansion or CPU. And when we get into channels, these are all of the individual zones going out from that. There are relay inputs on these cards that can be used to activate messages. And then there's relay outputs that when activated can close a contact to activate something else. And then there's the group membership. Right now we have, you guys have just requested an all call for the whole building. So that's all we have set up right now in the groups.
This is where if 20 years down the road, they want to do individualized paging to classrooms.
Yeah, we'll come in and we can set this up. So what you do there is, what will happen is you could, so right now we have 5,000 set up for your, the dial, or the extension to connect to this. If we were to, say, come in later and set up a 5001, you would dial that and then get a dial tone back from the Valcom system, and you could dial in this 3-digit code to call that individual room.
So we might use that in Area J, our MAC, Multi-Purpose Activity Center, where somebody, hey, can you get Sally Smith? And somebody could dial 5001 and say, Sally Smith, come over to the whichever, and that would just go in the Multi-Purpose Activity Center.
Yes, that is something that can be set up.
Do you foresee doing individual classroom paging?
Nope.
You get away from that?
Yeah, it's phones. Phones are how we do it, because we don't want, hey, Sally's got a contagious disease, can you send her down to the clinic? Everyone in the room hears it.
But across the top with those icons, you have network, which is where you could set in. This is honestly more if you have different, if you have systems on different networks, or you just, sometimes over the Wi-Fi, you can have, the system will have, the 102B tool will have trouble connecting to or finding their devices. You can come in and set up that IP range, and it'll search for that exact range. But with your guys' network, I have had no issues connecting.
Well, nothing's over here yet.
Right, yeah.
Give it time.
Job information is just where you can set up notes or things. This is honestly more of a programmer. You can save a snapshot of this. So I have a snapshot saved from the last bit of work that I was doing yesterday. And then what you can do is you can come in and instead of connecting to the network, you can load up that snapshot and then send it to the devices. It's also good to keep a saved snapshot locally. So when you guys connect, you can do that. If you ever have an issue with anything, you can always reload back to that snapshot. This magnifying glass is what you would use to scan for the devices. So I can actually remove them and hit that scan and it'll pull everything back up. Update changes, if you make a change to the system, that's what actually sends it. Right now, you can look, almost every time you connect to the system, this will want an update. Nothing has changed, you've just connected to it. It'll pop up blue down here in the key. It says update required. Nothing's changed, it just automatically comes up with an update, but that icon will light up if there is a change to be made, which it thinks that there is. But it'll send the update, and then everything has to reboot, and it'll come back up, and then they'll all be gray.
So what happens if you ignore that? You say there's nothing to update.
That's you. Like right now, I'm not going to send the update because there's nothing to change, and there's no reason for us to sit here and wait for it to reboot. This one right here next to it is actually to reset devices. So you can send and not reset. If you send to all of these and you realize, oh, I wanted to make a change on the top one, you can still go in, make that change, and then reset everything after that. So you only have to wait once. We got the phone book. I skipped this one here. This would be to assign IP addresses. All of the IP addresses are already assigned, so you guys don't even need to deal with that button. Phone book has all of the dial codes, so every individual channel or card will have the dial code. Even if we're not using it, I have to put a dial code in there for it. So all of those are listed in there. Here's where you set up an audio group. Right now I have your all call in there, and I've got a test group that I was planning. I'll probably take that out before we're done. But you can build one by putting in the dial code, naming it, and then setting the priority. A lower number is a higher priority, so that actually goes from 1 to 100. It defaults at 10, and I like to leave that there for the on-call. There are other messages that come in at like a 40 default. So if one of those is running, like a bell, if a bell is running and you make an on-call, it'll override that bell.
Okay.
And then here is the group membership. That was this next button over. This is where you can go and assign. So you can select the group and then assign where you want that to go. And control groups is not something that we're doing. We're not using any of the relays to control anything right now. But that would be if you had a relay set up to fire on a certain thing, you could set that up with. And if there's a conflict, so if you have two zones with the same dial code, it'll pop up with a conflict. Or if conflicting IP addresses, anything like that, this little triangle with the exclamation point will light up yellow to let you know that there's a problem. And then, actually, I don't even...
Trash can's full.
Trash can's full, device cleanup. I don't know what that button does. Now I'm gonna look horrible on video. So we'll get to the toolbar at the top.
You can partition it.
Still probably stuff you guys will never use. This is if you wanted to build a new system, open your snapshot. You can save the snapshot here, export it as a CSV file for other systems. Access the job information, which we saw on the other tag. All of the network definitions, the network or tool network settings, which is actually for the 102B tool. That'll be what NIC you're using. Go into options here. These will be, again, options for the 102B tool. It's just prompts when making changes or when it finds something or when you go to search for something. What it does when you start up. And then the miscellaneous is just how it sorts and how you see the things. How many snapshots you can see in your file. Communications is again where you can come in, you can scan all devices, you can scan a single device, which would be selecting one. Scanning for missing devices will not scan what is already showing. It would be if something is missing or you've just added something, you can click scan missing devices and it'll search out for that. Scan selected devices is the ones that you have clicked and selected in the back. The same for update, goes through the same things. You can update all, single, update just what has changed, or update what you have selected behind this. Same with reset, that is a power reset. It reboots the device. You can reboot all, single, the ones that have just been updated or the selected. Verifying reaches out to the devices to make sure that they're actually there and that they are what you think that they are back here. You can verify a single. Recover missing would be if it pops up unknown, you can hit recover missing and it'll go out and look for those ones that it's not seeing right now. Network diagnostics is a good one to pull up if you're having issues with one of the device. So I'm not on the VLAN with them right now, so my broadcast isn't there, but I am able to hit them over multicast, so that's how we're finding them. If you were on the paging VLAN, this would be green as well. But it'll show you all of the details, MAC addresses for everything. This is a good way. If multicast turns red, if you don't have multicast, the all call won't work. Because it sends out multicast to hit all of the different zones.
That statement, regardless of whether the broadcast is lit in green?
Correct.
Good one to remember, because we do turn that off.
Yeah, you'll need to, at least from the paging VLAN, will need multicast to stay on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if, for like, if you're just reaching out to it over the Wi-Fi, you don't need multicast to it. You just need to be able to hit one of the IP addresses and the system will find itself.
Fine stuff, yeah.
Send sample page can be used. So I've got the dual chime here. Let's change this to all call. And then, so you can actually select any WAV file off of your computer to send as a test. I actually had a little guitar blues lick that I was playing while we were testing so that it wasn't annoying everybody with the dual chime I'm about to play. And then the ports and everything, this is all default. You generally don't want to mess with any of that unless you guys have reassigned the network ports. So I can hit that start page. Right now I have it set to repeat, where it says page repeat. So it'll repeat every 5 seconds right now. Hit start page. And that's the little tone that I've got that I have selected right now as a test. And I'll hit stop page to stop it from repeating.
Lovely tone.
That was the dual chime. That's actually when you when it's set up to do a direct call. When you call directly into a room, that chime plays before you speak, just to alert the room that there's a call coming in.
Right.
And
Now, you might get into it, but where's the volume?
It's a few more down.
Oh, okay, good.
A few syslog messages you can actually go into. You actually have to have that set up under the network tab. So if you wanted to watch what's coming in and out of one of these cards, you can use the syslog, type in your IP address, and then go view the syslog messages. And anytime that that card does something, it'll pop up. Device is just to control what's going on over here. You can add a sample device. I don't know why you
No,
have to
no,
do
no.
that. You can remove if you want to take all of these out of the list. You can remove, selected, replace, or you can put one on an ignore list if you don't want it to pop up when you're searching.
Yeah, we're not letting people get in here.
No, no.
When the remodel happens,
Oh, who's saying that?
Security is to change the passwords or the password for the tool itself. You can remove the passwords. Right now there is not a password set up on this.
Okay.
That's something you're going to set up.
Yeah.
Programming is, again, probably not something you guys will ever need to access. But you can change the names or dial codes on the cards here. Or change DNS settings. You can do it globally through this. Oh, and there at the bottom is your volume adjustments. So this is just for the devices. Only certain ones will actually have volume control through this, but out to Bogan is the channel going out to feed the other buildings. If you need to turn that up, you can come in here, select that audio output, bring it up. If I select it right now, I believe it's at +10, +11.
Yeah, because that's a good one, because you don't know what the difference is going to be. Yeah, okay, cool.
and have you tested that at +11?
Yes, that was, we did it yesterday.
Okay.
You can even, from this page, you can click that, it'll bring up the sample page window again. So you don't have to navigate back to that. And then as you make changes, it'll actually, the boxes will change these different colors. We'll look at that right here.
But you know, it'd be nice to have a map on there so we can know exactly if that was our.
But the question, the thought that I have, if I'm sitting in this classroom, I don't need much volume, but if I'm down the hall in one of the labs, I need more.
Yeah.
And currently, very rudimentarily, we can increase volumes to a few different options
Right.
in locations that need
And we'll-
high noise.
There are options for that. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
This is just
That's what I wanted.
for this system. And you can see it's yellow, adjustments are active, so I've made a change. And it is doing that, but has not actually applied it yet. You can click here to commit the changes, and it'll set that as the volume there. Alternatively, you can actually come here, click this, go to the channels. There is the individual channel information for this. You can make a change through this window. You actually have to send it
To it.
through this option here. System is just the actual system options, dial code length. Right now, everything is set to 3. You can, if you change that, you then have to go through and change all of the dial codes on every channel. System network settings is the IP and everything for that. Global scope definitions is probably something you guys will never even need to get into. This is just the different audio ports and stuff. There are volume offsets that you can do here, so different priority settings, you can set them to be louder or quieter.
I can't see that, but that's a cute idea.
Yeah.
That way, if you
And
had
then
something really, really
We've
important.
got just other ways to access the shortcuts that are there.
Right, okay.
Cool.
And then conflicts is the same thing that'll pop up. If there's a conflict, this will light up, or you can come in here and view them. And then your help just has your version information. So if we ever needed to call Valcom, we could say, oh, my 102B tool is running
Yeah.
this version. Yes, this is the Valcom 102B IP solution setup tool. I believe we will get that file to you through the turnover materials.
So then, is this right now in TR3, and then when we get to the main version?
Yes,
probably?
currently, yeah, we'll get, when we get to the closet stuff, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yep.
And so we're putting in a mass notification system, so it'll be connected via Wi-Fi from our existing building to cover the entire campus on the exterior. So it will do an all-call, et cetera, from our fire alarm system. So, you know, if we've got lockdown, tornado, whatever, we're able to send that signal. So if we've got students out on campus, it covers them. Is this going to be connected to that mass notification system as well?
At the moment, I'm not certain.
We haven't ran anything over
Yeah.
to your fire alarm panel. I haven't seen anything in the scope of that
Yeah,
yet.
I'm just talking about the PA system. If we want to make an announcement, hey, Sally Smith, come to the
That's-
office.
If you're making like something through the fire alarm,
Yeah, but if we want to do it through the paging system
yeah,
and connect it out to the mass notification system.
that has not been in the scope yet.
Yeah, the mass
Not that I
notification
know of.
system, Gilbane is pricing as a,
Oh, so it's something upcoming.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet,
Yeah.
so I'm not certain. It would be a good idea to connect this
Right.
to that.
No, what you're saying, so we can pay somebody outdoors or get a
Yep,
message
yeah.
to them
Or if
outdoors.
somebody's making a